It's a great day to paint some snow on some branches to finish up our blue jay and our pretty background in the snow and cold. So, part one, we did the background. Part two, we did the blue jay, and the details, the branches and the snow we're going to do right now. So, I'm going to decide where the branches are, and they are hidden under a pile of snow. They're going to be brownish gray in color, and I've got a round number 6 brush with a point, and it's the same brush that I've been using all the way through this, and I'm finding where the branch is hiding under the snow. And my snow is kind of icicle-y shaped. So now as I move down, I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to add a little blue to my brown to make it grayer, because you should change the color as you move along, just for interest's sake. And I'm looking over here at my photo reference, and I can see I've got branch and background here. So I'm going to skip along and keep finding where the branch goes. And the branch splits here and takes off down here. And I'm just making an interesting edge to that snow. The branch is holding up that little piece of snow. And I like to paint when it's the right time to paint. This is December that we're painting, and we should be seeing all this snow, but it's really not too snowy out here in Colorado. So we can make our own snow situation right here. Now, here I think it would be nice to have a variety, and I'm going to lighten the underside with water. See how I lift that up, which is clear water? Lift, lift, lift. And then clean off the paint, hit it on the sponge to absorb the excess water. Here's a big tip. If you go back in there with straight water, you will introduce water in and get a bloom. That's not what I want. I want a nice straight area. Then I'm going to add some blue, and I'm just going to touch under that snow to make a shadow. So it's looking round. I've got light to dark. Just touching. I'm letting the water move that around. All right, let's keep going here. Back to some branch color. There's some snow that goes all over there. This is a foot here. So here comes our branch. And that is a little toe or claw. So I'm going to have to figure out the footing right there. And our branch is kind of knobby, so it's got some parts that are sticking out there. There's a pile of snow. And I have invented some icicles. They aren't in my reference photo, but I thought they'd look kind of fun. So I just scooped in some blue. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to pick up just a little piece of a yellower color. I'm dipping into my yellow ochre, and I'm going to go down here just to change the color. Interest. It's all about entertaining the viewer. So here, I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go back to my brown and take the branch off this way and this way. And that's going to be a pile of snow. I'm going to let the snow almost completely go under. So here comes our branch again. And you see what that does? It makes it thick and thin. So it's not all the same. We never want the same. Variety. Spice of life. Variety. And of course we want some little details here, and I'm getting pretty close here to the edge of the paper, so I don't want all my I don't want much interest down here. I want the interest and the details to be up near the center of interest, the bird. So I don't see much branch there. I don't see much branch there. I don't want to take your eye off there either. So that is going to be where my branch is. The next part, if I wanted to, I could do a little bit of work with the snow. And I have to be very careful because this was wet a moment ago, but if it feels dry enough that I can wet the snow area and make just a little shadow. So I'm going to make a blue, and if I touch it right here along where it's wet and let it soften with the water, I can even force it up there a little bit, it will look like a shadow. That's my goal. I can stripe it in and also soften it. It's another way. I think I like that way better. Sometimes you have to try things out. So there's a little blue, and here's just a little water to soften that edge to make it look like. In my photo reference, the whites in the snow are so overexposed you're not getting much to see there. We can make it better in the painting. And I'm beefing it up with some more blue. So we can do as much of that as we like to do. Now here, I wasn't very careful watching this pile of snow, and I got pretty blue in here. So I want to show you a trick. I'm going to take this little brush, which is a Fritsch, and it's got stiff bristles and very short bristles. You can trim off an old bristle hair oil painting brush if you want to make your own, or you can buy a Fritsch or a scrubber. And see where the snow comes over here? I want to soften this, and I'm actually scrubbing. You can hear it as I scrub the paint off. Soften that hard edge line. I can take my cloth towel and blot that back and get rid of that color. You know when they told you you can't change watercolor, it's just because they didn't know how. You can change anything you want. One of our jokes is new people to watercolor give up too soon. They're just not finished yet. You got to keep working at it. When you think you've lost your painting and destroyed it, you're just not finished yet. Sometimes it takes a lot more work. This is building a soft edge line that I really like. It still looks like snow. It's not quite as sharp and harsh, but we don't want it sharp and harsh down there. We want it to be softer. So this is a perfect way to build the snow. This is also a perfect way to get rid of spots or dots that you did not intend to have. Just get rid of them. We can erase with this. Isn't that great? Okay. I'm liking the way that looks. We could spend a whole lot more time, but I just want to get this manageable so that you can see how to do some of the techniques. You can always go back and spend time finishing the details. So I'm mixing up with blue and brown, another little bit of dark, black. If it's too brown, add some blue. If it's too blue, add some brown. I want it pretty neutral, and we're going to go in for just a few details if it will allow me to hold an edge. So I'll test it here, and it's dry enough to hold an edge. And there it's not. It's kind of expanding a little too much. So I want to put these dark stripes down the bird and then find some of the edges to define the bird. And he's got some dark in his tail. Like I said, you can spend as much detail time as makes your heart happy. You can paint every feather on it if you want. For me, I prefer a little bit more impressionistic treatment. I like to stop when the bird says, "I'm a bird." That's all you need. Sometimes that's more fun to let your audience see that picture and complete it in their mind. If we explain things to death, it's not as interesting. So, like I said, you could do this part for quite a long time if that's what you want to do. I usually stop when it looks like a bird. Let's get some feet in there. They curl around. There's another big chunk of snow there, so this foot kind of gets lost in the snow. You could also put some stripes in your branch, some knot holes. As much detail as makes your heart happy. But I'm getting pretty happy with this, and the rest is just icing on the cake. So thanks for joining me for part 1, 2, and 3 of this blue jay picture. I hope you have another great day. Come back and paint with me again. Subscribe to the channel. Here's another blue jay that I've finished here that you can see. And subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. I always like to see what you're doing too, so share your pictures with me. Thanks so much.